Well, I was out testing and my pump was running. You know, everything was all good, it was running. And then got to the gas station, shut it off, and the pump shut off, and then found out the air was leaking back out the intake. Then I got home, opened up the box, because I was going to take this out to see what was wrong with it. And this whole wire's fried. A whole bunch of smoke came out, and figured out this wire was all fried. So we got some problems. So I'm going to take this apart and find out what's wrong. So I got this baby all apart. This is the piston right there. It goes up and down inside this cylinder here. You got the exhaust valve, or the output, and the input. This thing is dirty. Been running it without a filter, so. But when I took it apart, there's this little ring that was on this plate, just kind of chilling, and I think it goes underneath this valve, because if you look at this valve, it's kind of gotten offset to it, and that's how the air was leaking back out through this, because it wasn't getting a good seal. So I'm going to take off that screw and see if I can fix it. I still have no clue why that wire burned up. Maybe it just got a short in it somewhere, and because it had a 100 amp fuse on it, or a 100 amp circuit breaker, it took a while for it to blow. But hopefully I'll get this thing running again. Yep, got that off, and that's where that ring goes. So somehow that got popped out of there, and it's just kind of holding that valve open, so the pump wasn't really doing anything. But now I gotta clean that up, put it back together. Hopefully it'll work once I replace that wire. So tried to fix that valve yesterday, and that didn't get fixed. But then I was just gonna test the pump itself just to see if, like, the motor, because I know when I had it apart I moved the piston up and down and the motor turned over, so I knew it wasn't like seized up or anything. But I just wanted to see if it would run. So I hooked it up to a battery charger, and same thing happened. The wires got hot, and then the battery charger shut off. So I decided to take it apart and see if I could find what's wrong with it. And everything in here is just cooked. All these wires are just melted. I think this is the heat relay. So if it overheats in here, it'll automatically shut off. And a couple of the wires that go into that are fried. This red wire went to right there. Obviously this thing doesn't work. There's the motor. But yeah, these wires here are fried, stuck together. You see the copper in there. So obviously something went wrong. I don't think that this pump is savable. I guess I gotta get a new one. Oh well, lasted a while. Yeah, a little bit while later, and I got it all torn apart. There's the... Yeah, I've learned about motors, but I still don't know what they're called. And then you got like an armature. I don't think those are brushes, but they're kind of worn. And you got all your coils and all this stuff. Like, I can't find anything wrong with the inside of here. It's a little bit of like grease and dust in there. The only thing I did find is inside here this is like the motor casing. There's two magnets Well, like 4 magnets actually. And where is it? This one magnet here on the edge. I don't know if, right there on the edge is like broken off. But I haven't found the piece of the magnet anywhere. It actually looks like it's like worn all the way around. That whole magnet's worn. Like something got inside of here and hit that. But yeah, this wire is melted right there. This one you can tell it got really hot. These are melted in there. They're on springs and they're supposed to move so that they can stay in contact with this here. And they're not doing that anymore because they're melted in place. Yeah, that wire is melted. I think that's the heat sensor right there. It's got a wire that comes back to this little box here, shuts it off. This is probably just a relay. Cool, I got a relay out of this whole deal. And a pressure gauge. Ooh. But now I gotta buy a new pump. Yep.